hot takes, and cold truths. What does it all mean? We gonna get into it. Let's get it. Welcome. First of all, welcome. This is Unsolicited Perspectives. I'm your host, Bruce Anthony, here to lead the conversation in important events and topics that are shaping today's society. Join the conversation and follow us wherever you get your audio podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for our video podcasts and YouTube exclusive content. Rate, review, like, comment, share. Share with your friends, share with your family. Hell, even share with your enemies. On today's episode, it's a sibling happy hour. I'm here with my sis, Aundrea. We're going to be dilly-dallying a little bit. Then we're going to be giving you some real takes and some cold truths. And then we're going to talk about Black expressions. But that's enough of the intro. Let's get to the show. What up, sis?
What up, brother?
I can't call it. I want to give the audience a little update to the podcast.
Okay.
Me and you have talked about this behind the scenes, but
Yes.
we've recently changed the format, not really the format, but kind of like what's going on with the show as you turn off your air conditioning, as we've already started the show. And let's just say the start of this show, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you, I don't know how this is going to go today because we're both frazzled. We both worked all day today. This is not the normal time that we record. I'm tired. She's tired. I'm probably going to stumble over my words a lot more than I normally do, but we going to roll with it.
We're just going to roll with it.
We ain't got no choice. They demand it.
Literally no choice. Yeah.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't noticed, since the beginning of the year, me and my sister have been shying away from political topics. Every now and then we'll bring it up if it's something very, very important that needs to be discussed. And we've been doing somewhat on our YouTube exclusives. But I was actually talking to our father last night, and I've seen a growth in not only our YouTube, which, by the way, we've hit 20,000 subscribers today.
Woo!
By this time that this show is airing, we'll probably be at like 21 or maybe even 22. Who knows?
Who knows?
But the show has been growing. Not only our Instagram page has been growing slowly. Good God, so slowly.
But dude, it's making it.
Yeah, it's chugging along. It's like, an old pickup truck. It's still getting the job done slowly but surely. Gonna get you to your destination. And we've been getting a lot more engagement, comments, and stuff like that on our TikTok for the videos that we've been posting. And our father was just like, yeah, sometimes people just need to escape. And we've been during the election, we were talking so much real stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be honest, even though it is naturally our default and we try to hide it, we were coming off as somewhat angry.
Yeah.
Somewhat angry. Now, ladies and gentlemen, whether you don't know this or not, that is our natural default. I have a burning rage that's inside of me that gets suppressed through workouts, alcohol, and laughter.
Hot ball of lava. In the middle of my chest.
But it was coming out a little bit too much. And I was noticing that we weren't getting the traction. Look, we're not going to change who we are. We're going to talk about current events and topics that are going on in today's society. And sometimes that's going to be real. But I've also really enjoyed the last few shows that we've done where we've just kind of been like, we've been semi-serious, but kind of silly. And that's kind of how I always wanted the show to be. I didn't want to be a political podcast. Pod Saves America is that.
Right.
Look, we could talk a lot about a little bit and a little bit about a lot, but not a lot about a lot. So we gonna say that for them.
Right.
And we are getting back to giving y'all laughs and being silly, but also real. And that's how things are going to be. We're going to talk about serious topics still every now and then.
Yeah.
But now we want to get back to laughing. We want to get back to joy because we know that that's what y'all want. Y'all want joy.
Yes.
So
I like that. I like that new direction.
I think it's going back to the old direction.
No, I feel like we started out with more serious content and you would try to find moments of levity.
Wait a minute. You think the first podcast is literally titled Truth to Power, Power to Truth, because I messed it up. We weren't talking about nothing serious. I think
well, you can't include the first couple podcasts. So that's us. We didn't even have a show format, like a structure to the show.
We had a structure to the show by the second show.
No, we did not.
Yes, we did.
It still wasn't as fully fleshed out as it is now, where we actually have segment breaks and
we had segment breaks on the second show.
I don't.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
Yeah, no, we had second breaks on the second show.
The actual second show or the second show?
Well,
that we aired.
No, there's a whole first show that I think we did eventually put out on. No, we put it on the after hours. Put it on the Patreon, the very first record, and we was like, we can't put this there. This can't be our first show. And then there was one time where I misspoke. And we had to cut an entire segment, and that never made it to air. Well, never made it to air because that.
Yeah, absolutely not. I
misspoke so bad. I was like, oh no, this can't go out. This can't go out.
The whole segment has to be scrapped.
Throughout the whole thing. But I don't know. I think we didn't really start getting. There's a dramatic difference going back to like August of last year through November. Through the election, where it was like serious topic after serious topic after serious topic. And
because it was not to say that there's not a lot going on right now. There is. But I don't know. I felt like a little bit of fatigue set in.
Definitely for us.
With us. Yeah. Where I was like, I can't talk about this anymore.
Well, I told you about it off the air, and I have no problem saying it on the air. I told you about it off the air that I couldn't, for some strange reason, I had lost like 20 pounds right before Thanksgiving, right before the election. And then after the election, going into the holidays, I gained it right back. And people will say, well, it's the holidays, people eat right. I'm way more disciplined. But I couldn't stop for some reason. And I couldn't figure out what it was. I was depressed. I was so busy that I didn't realize that I was depressed. But I was depressed doing the show, talking about the serious topics all the time. And then the outcome that we didn't want, right? That I'm going to say half of America didn't want. I think was probably more of America didn't want it now. But I was like, I thought about it. And I remember I took off of work all day Wednesday and didn't even watch the news until Wednesday night because I knew what was going to happen and I didn't want to be confronted with it. So
I didn't watch at all.
Yeah.
I woke up the next morning and just opened up Google because I figured it would be right on the front page. And it was, and I saw it and I just turned over and went back to sleep.
Yeah, no. So yes, there was, ladies and gentlemen, I can honestly say that those shows I still think are good.
Yeah.
They just aren't what I want them to be.
Yeah.
That's not what I want this show to be. And we veered off, and I think we're back on course. Because ain't nothing serious that we're talking about today.
Literally nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Not a damn thing. But I am more excited about talking about this than I have been for a long time. Don't know what that means for the overall show for today, but I feel excited about talking about it. So that's a good thing.
I liked the rundown when I saw it. So I was like, okay, we're gonna talk about some things here. Okay, okay.
Also, ladies and gentlemen, you got to understand that our scheduling is a little bit different. Like some stuff we can't talk topical because we are literally filming this Tuesday night and it airs Friday. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that can happen between Tuesday and Friday that, guess what? We can't address or there'll be changes. So that's the reason why we've been pushing the YouTube exclusives, because we do address stuff on if something happens and it's not on the show, it'll be on the YouTube exclusives. Yeah. So yeah. That's what's going on.
We're getting back to basics, people.
Yeah. Sometimes you just got to get back to basics. Life ain't got to be complicated. You can make it more complicated than it should be.
Yeah.
But as I said yesterday, I was speaking to our father. And I remember when I taught our father how to side load the Amazon Fire Stick.
Yeah.
And he took it to a whole new direction. It's like, oh yeah, I got all these different apps on here and all this stuff to help me out and everything's like this. And I forgot that he was a computer programmer. Like he's an old computer programmer, but nevertheless, he's a computer programmer. So when I show him these things, it's immediate for him. I was like, oh, okay, yeah, I got that. This is in that and that. And he goes straight into it. I was talking to him and we were talking about AI yesterday. And he was like, your sister. And ladies and gentlemen, that's how my father sounds to me. Okay.
Yeah.
He's like, your
sister. That is not actually how he sounds.
That's not, but that's how it sounds to me. He's like, your sister now. She a bad mama jamma when it comes to that AI.
Okay, that literally sounds nothing like it. He does not say mama jamma. That's.
I told you it was in my head. That's the way he sounds in my head. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
He's like, she a bad member jamma with that AI. And I was like, what you mean? He's like, yeah, she teaching me about all these different things. And you know how I am with AI. She's just surpassed me. I was like, yeah, well, she is. You know, she got a certification in it. So, I mean.
Yeah.
So
I did spend a whole last semester studying generative AI. So yeah, my AI game is pretty legit.
And he was like, he said that you could create some AI stuff for him that'll make his job a little bit easier, or did I mishear that?
He was probably talking about agentic AI.
I don't know what that is.
So agentic AI is a little different from like generative AI, which is like your ChatGPT, Copilot, Gemini, right? So basically generative AI is exactly what it says. It generates new content based on all the information that it's learned. So it can generate text, it can generate images, but it can only do within the scope of what it knows, right? Mm-hmm. Whereas agentic AI or AI agents actually go out and find information on their own.
Oh, okay.
And they can kind of make decisions in a way. And it's a really effective way to like automate processes.
Oh, okay. See, look, come to this podcast, you learn a little bit. I know that you know your AI because you said GPT correctly. Because so many people say chat TTP or TCP or RESPECT, and I'm like, that's not what it is. It's chat GPT.
Yeah, it stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformer.
But everybody gets it wrong. And I'm like, that's not what it is. And I guess if you say GPT real fast, it creates a whole new word.
Yeah, GPT.
Yeah. No. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Sound like a word that we probably shouldn't be saying because it seems like it could be derogatory in some form or fashion somehow. Well, anytime I say words, sometimes look, let me tell you, I just got off of a work call, and the person that I got off the work call is Jewish.
Okay.
And we were talking about his friend moving to Chattanooga, Tennessee. Mm-hmm. And he was like, I don't know if there's any Jewish people in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And I was like, Chattanooga, Tennessee is a bigger town because it's a college town.
Yeah.
So he was like, oh, it's a college town, and there's definitely going to be Jewish people there. And I said, well, wait a minute now, hold up. That seems racist. He was like, what you mean? And I was like, because it's a college town, that guarantees there's going to be Jewish people there. I said, if I said that would be racist. He was like, I don't know. I was like, no, I know. It feels that way. Yeah. It feels that way.
Yeah.
So
I mean, there's things you could say about your own community that don't come out right if people outside of your community say these things. So that's, you got to be a part of that group, and you can say what you want. Sometimes, but like when people outside of that group, it's kind of like if I'm talking to somebody and I'm bad mouthing you, right? Mm-hmm. Oh man, Bruce did this, Bruce did that. And they're like, Bruce ain't worth it. And I'm like, ho. You can't say that. Right. I can say that. That's my brother. You can't say that. because then we're gonna have to fight. So it's like it's kind of like that. It's like you got to be in the club.
I think that concept is lost on a certain segment of the population when they say, why can't I say this or do that?
Yes.
And I'm like, because you're not part of that group. But they do it. Yeah, because they're part of the group.
They're a part of that group. Yeah, you got to be in the club. Sorry. Like you got to get the handshake. You got to be in the club.
Well, you know what my favorite cuss word is, right?
No.
It's the same as too short. What's my favorite word? Why you want to say it like short? But
yeah,
I have to be careful in the environment in which I say it, because if I'm around women, they don't know that I'm not saying that about them. And sometimes I could be talking about a woman and say that word, but that don't mean it in that direction. That's just it's literally my favorite word. And I don't know why. It's been my favorite word since I was a kid.
Really?
It's my favorite cuss word. MF ain't never, I'd hardly ever say that, right?
Yeah, I really don't say MF a lot either.
I don't say F a lot. I'll say S a lot.
I think the S word is mine.
Because because so many of our favorite scenes by comedians, they punctuate it with the S word.
That's where I'm going.
Right. Right. That I was just going to say that. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Coming to America when they was in the bar. No, they wasn't in the barbershop. That's when he was.
They were outside the barbershop.
They was outside the barbershop.
He was about to go to the Black Awareness Rally.
That's where I'm going. I say that at least once a week. That's my lie. But the B word is my favorite cuss word. It's my favorite cuss word. And my favorite word. That and tomfoolery.
Now, I have literally,
because I'm
in the whole of my life,
I'm BSing.
Never, because you have literally, that is the first time I've ever heard you say the word tomfoolery. And I think you need to knock it off, because that is not even remotely true.
You know how I know I'm getting old? Because I was talking to somebody a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, I was just out there moving and shaking, just had to do what I had to do. And they said, wait a minute, how old are you? Were you born in 1972? Because I was like, well, not that far from it.
Right. No, I don't move and shake. I rip and run.
I rip and run into. Yeah, rip and run into all the time.
I rip and run. Yeah.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, as per this new format, that was us dilly-daddling, and well, I don't know how that went. We done with the dilly-daddling. Now, I'm about to introduce a new segment, but I know what y'all gonna say because I get called out for it. I'm always introducing a new segment and then don't never go back to that segment. And you know why?
That's happened a couple times.
Yeah, you know why, ladies and gentlemen? Because I forget about them.
Yeah.
But that's basically, I introduce a new segment, and that segment doesn't mean it's gonna come back. It's just new.
Yeah.
So we
didn't say recurring. We said new.
We said new. Not I like that. See, that's the linguist in you.
Yeah.
Because I didn't say reoccurring. I didn't say it will be back. I just said new. And it's new. And that's going to be hot takes and cold truths. We're going to get into that next. So, like I said, here's a new segment. Didn't say reoccurring. Might not ever come back. But it's a new segment called Hot Takes and Cold Truths. And I'm going to throw a couple of scenarios at my sister to get her hot take and her cold truth about it. So, Jay, let's talk emergency contact fails.
Okay.
Who in your life is a hilariously unqualified to be your emergency contact? And you don't have to, well, I guess you would have to say who it is, but you don't have to say who it is.
Yeah.
But you could also tell a story about the most chaotic thing that they've ever done and the reason why. That may be the reason they would never be your emergency contact.
Woo, that's a lot. Well, I can tell you the person that I probably will not ever put as my emergency contact, and that's our mother. And the reason why, take from me.
Mom about to get it. Mom about
her dearly.
Love mom.
But your emergency contact has to answer the phone.
Oh, okay. So we have different reasons, but go ahead with yours.
Yeah, it has to answer the phone. So it's been like the last maybe 2 weeks. Every time I call or text, I get that voicemail. and no response to my text. And I'm like, what's going on? So finally I asked, oh, my phone's charging. Okay, what does that have to do with it? It's in a completely other room. It's not even charging near her. Ringer's off. Completely other room. No, you can't be my emergency contact. No. And also, I know that you have your settings set up where if contact is not in your phone won't ring. So the hospital call, the police call, you're not gonna answer. So yeah, that's step one. Listen, if your emergency contact is somebody you can't ever get a hold of, you need a new emergency contact. Because I guarantee you they're not going to answer a phone number they don't recognize. So you need a new emergency contact. So I did change my emergency contact. I actually, it's our cousin, and I informed him the other day. One, he answers his phone, and two, he lives around the corner. So I know that if, something happens and people are like, hey, we haven't heard from John, I got to do a welfare check. He's right around the corner. So that's why I should. But no, she don't answer. No, she don't answer the phone.
Okay. Well, she would not be my emergency contact for a different reason. But I also want to point out, you've been saying your real name a lot on the show, on the main show. You've been.
I didn't know. Yeah, did people not know my name?
No, you've been. Your stage name is Aundrea.
Oh, but
people don't know my real name unless they know me. Well, actually,
the show is literally called Unsolicited Perspectives
with Bruce Anthony.
Yeah. Yes. So people do know your name is Bruce.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, but that's not my full. That's not my government name.
Oh yeah, I never use my last name.
Well, yeah, I mean, it don't take much for the people to figure out our last names anyway.
Well, the thing is, the cool thing about my name is don't nobody know how to spell it.
No, that's right.
Properly.
Yeah.
So
if you can't spell Bruce, you know what? People have actually asked me, how do you spell it? And I'm like, are you stupid? And some people say it's Bruse. And I was like, Bruce ain't never in all of time been spelled with an S.
Bruce Lee, Bruce Wayne. How do y'all not? What? Come on, y'all. I get it's not a common name these days. Wow. You don't meet a lot of them. You don't meet a lot of them under 40. You don't. You don't meet a lot of little kids. Hey, kid, what's your name? Bruce. You don't meet.
Was I the last little kid named Bruce?
You were the last one.
I've never met anybody close to my age named Bruce. So you're absolutely right. My parents gave me an old 1960s name. All right, whatever. It is what it is.
It is what it is.
All right. Yeah. So the reason why mom won't be my emergency contact.
Oh, we picked the
same. I said it was going to be the same person. Yeah. And once again, love our mother. She is dependable if you can get a hold of her.
To here and beyond,
right.
love
this woman.
Yes.
But she ain't gonna do what I want her to do. And this is what I mean by this. One time I had a discussion with her and I said, yeah, if it's between my life or getting anything amputated, just go ahead and let me go. And mom was like, no, I'm not gonna do that. And I was like, see, that's the reason why I'm not gonna have you anywhere near the decisions, because you ain't gonna do what my wishes are. No, that's just stupid. See, that's what I'm talking about. It ain't about you. It's about what I want. And I don't want to live that way. So, unless, I said, I've always thrown the caveat, if I had kids and a family, I'll go ahead and be one-legged Bruce. I'll be one-armed Bruce. Matter of fact, wasn't the guy from The Fugitive named Bruce?
That's a good question.
I think his name, I think the one-armed man's real name was Bruce. And if y'all know who The Fugitive is, I just really aged myself. I mean, Harrison Ford was in The Fugitive, but that's also our generation.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah,
but mom won't do what I want to be done. If they say, hey, Bruce needs to lose this eye or he's going to die, my answer is go ahead and let me go. And she'd be like, no, you don't need both eyes. Yes, I do.
Well, because that's one, ridiculous, but I also agree with you. It's funny, remember when I had COVID, I got long haulers and I ended up being hospitalized. And so they come around after a couple hours and the treatments weren't working. So they come around and get your advanced directives. And I had to think about who did I want to make medical decisions for me in the event that I couldn't. And I picked our younger brother.
Oh yeah, no, that he would absolutely be.
He would 100% execute my wishes.
I would trust you as well.
Yes,
I would trust you and our younger brother, but our younger brother will do the cold heart. He would do the cold hearted thing. He would hate it. He would hate it, but he would be like, "This is what they want." He'd be crying the whole way through, and he'd be shook. I don't know if I want to even give him that because I don't know if he would recover.
It is a big job.
It is.
Like, when
that's
you
a big
think
job.
about like who is gonna make these medical decisions for you. It's a big question. It's and also like things like godparents. You know, that's some people it's just like symbolic, right? But for some people they're very serious about it. And when I was made a godparent, my friends said, "No, I'm actually saying if something were to happen to me and my husband, we know you would raise our child the way we would."
And they got a whole gang of sisters.
Yes, a gang of siblings.
Gang of them.
Yeah, a gang of siblings. And so like that you know, it meant a lot to me. And I mean, I don't ever anticipate that ever happening. But for people, you know, some of these decisions are big deals. It's like, okay, who is gonna make these decisions for you? Who is gonna handle something in the event something goes down? You know, you gotta really think. Is this person gonna answer the phone?
Hey, Mom, we love you dearly.
Yeah.
But you don't be answering your phone.
No.
Not ever. All right, here's another hot take and cold truth. I know this has had to happen to you. The universal experience of scrolling for just 5 minutes and then suddenly realizing it's tomorrow.
Yeah.
What is your best accidental all-night story of you just sitting there scrolling on the phone? It doesn't actually have to be all-nighter, but you scrolling on the phone and the next thing you look up like, what the hell?
No, it wasn't all-nighter. And it was, and I know a lot of people will remember this. Who the bleep did I marry?
Oh, Risa Tisa. Yep.
Risa Tisa, that whole TikTok story. I was deeply invested in this. Okay. I was deeply invested. And then I was watching it, going down a rabbit hole. I looked up and it was light out. And I was like, oh, well, damn. I spent a lot of time on this. But I was deeply invested. And I actually haven't been on TikTok since November. But I frequently go down TikTok rabbit holes and I will be up very, very late and I have a lot to do the next day. Or I get on my phone in the morning and then next thing I know, I'm like, I should have left for work 10 minutes ago. And since I'm already late, might as well stop and get some coffee. So like
black folks logic. That don't make no sense at all. Just so you late. So
I'm
you're just
already
gonna be
late.
More late.
Yeah, might as well. If I'm already late, what does it matter if I'm more late?
Okay.
That doesn't make sense.
So this happens to me, but in two different ways. This is what I mean by that. YouTube is my scroll and just get absolutely lost.
Yeah.
And it's always a problem when I'm like, oh, I don't have to get up early in the morning. I'm just going to get on my phone and watch a couple of shorts. And then the shorts lead to, well, wait a minute, hold on. Now I got to see this whole scene from this movie that I saw that one time. And then, oh, wait a minute. It's got a whole bunch of scenes from that movie. Then the next thing I know, I didn't watch 10-minute clips from a movie. I didn't watch the whole movie. And then I'm like, oh yeah, but you remember when he was in that movie? Or remember when she was in that movie? I remember this clip and I've done that. But last Sunday, after we finished filming the YouTube exclusives and the after hours that y'all can find on our YouTube and Patreon page. I sat on the couch and I was trying to figure out what I was going to order for my Sunday brunch. Because I was like, I don't feel like cooking. I'm tired. I'm going to order some food. What do I feel like eating? And I was just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling on Uber Eats. And I said, well, let me get my mind off of what I want to eat. And let me just go on Instagram real fast. Jay, I looked up, and 3.5 hours later, my stomach told me, hey, bro, we was talking about some food a while ago. I was like, oh, damn, you right. My stomach's
It's literally touching your thoracic spine. Your stomach is that empty. Yeah. TikTok Reels. Don't even press that button down at the bottom to pull up Reels. Don't even do it, because, and that's how you know also that I enter in one of those like spirals, because I'll start sending you a bunch of Reels.
Yeah, you sent one. It was, I think, last week. It was last week, and it was in the morning, and I was working, and my Apple Watch kept going bloop bloop, and your face popping up, bloop bloop, your face popping up. I was like, I guess she ain't working right now. I guess she got time on her hands. But you know what pissed me off during that whole thing? You know, I'm extra sensitive about this. It really agitates me, because I had sent you stuff and you didn't respond to none of the stuff I had sent you, which meant that you hadn't checked your DMs. You was just scrolling and sending me stuff.
Yeah. Because here's the thing. When I first open Instagram, if I look and the little number over the DMs, if it's more than 3,
well, hold on now.
Then I probably am not going in there to check it until much, much later. If I look and I got like 10 DMs in there, I ain't gonna. Right now, I haven't looked at the most recent number, but it was like 125 texts from group chats and stuff, because I didn't check my phone all day today. And so it's like group chats, and I was like, I'm just gonna mark everything as read, and if anything important, somebody will bring it up again, because I'm not going through all of those. I'm not doing it.
My boys jive think like I don't rock with them anymore, because I'm working or doing something and my phone is always on silent. Like it is. I don't remember last time my phone has rang. Okay, the only time I actually have my phone like on is when somebody's coming to visit me and I need to be on top of it. But otherwise, it's on silent. So I'll check my phone, but just with them, it'll be like 100 text messages. And I was like, I've missed this conversation. Like I'm not going to go back and read all those text messages. And what I should say is, hey, I missed this whole conversation. I ain't going to read back all these messages, but I'm here. That's what I should say. But I don't do that because we guys and whatever. So they think that they're like, we can't even get a hold of you. We have full conversations. Y'all have them at the wrong time.
Yeah. I'm not available. And then by the time I am available, it's so many. I'm like, all right,
I'm not gonna go through all that. Hey, you know what? That's another hot take, cold truth. I'm not gonna go. I wake up every morning to. I have a friend out in the West Coast, not our mutual friend. It's a different friend.
Yeah,
and I'm in a group chat with them, and because they're in the West Coast and the other person is on the East Coast with me, I always wake up to about 9 different DMs, and it'll say, because the magic number on your Instagram DMs, it'll go up to 4, and then it'll just put plus, and then I always put my head down like, oh.
Yeah.
And if they're just memes, okay, but they don't just be memes; they be reels, and sometimes they be long, because you could do long reels now. And I'm like,
and people love to send me reels. And
I do.
They really, really do. And
they be funny.
Guys, I'm not gonna. I got like, it's literally like watching a feature length film if I go through all those reels and watch them. So yeah, sometimes I look and I say, I can't do this. Is gonna have to wait till the weekend.
I got a client, and she just says, yeah, I don't ever respond back to the reels people send me. I was like, never? It's like, because if you respond back to some, then you got to respond back to all. If you never respond back to any of them, they know that you got them. And I was like, that's a good idea. Maybe I should start doing that.
No, I want to give people some response, because I A lot of them are very funny. People know my sense of humor very well. So like a lot of them are very funny. I just don't have the time to sit and watch 48 reels between, 12 different DMs. Like I don't have time to do that.
Well,
Okay.
also, that's good that your people know your sense of humor. I have people sending me stuff and I'm like, that's not funny. It's not funny. Why would you think that I would think that this is funny? Especially some of the men in my life that'll send me stuff and it's like a misogynist joke. And I can laugh at a misogynist joke because if a joke is funny, I can still laugh.
If a joke is funny, it's funny.
But if it's not funny,
right,
then the only reason why you think it's funny is because it's misogynist.
Right.
And that's
or you're trying to bait me, in some way.
Some people, a lot of people be trying to bait me in the debates. I don't know when they're going to figure out I'm not going to do that. But on to the next topic, because we could talk about this for forever.
Yeah.
Airbnb versus hotels. Now, when Airbnbs first came out, I was all for them. I was like, you get a kitchenette, you get all this and that. It's a home. I'm for this. Then Airbnbs give you chores. And I'm not for that. I'm like,
excuse me?
No, chores. Yeah. When you stay at an Airbnb, it is chores. There's a whole list of stuff that you got to do before you leave. A hotel, all I got to do is just pack my stuff and get up out of there. I can leave
leave the room a mess.
Airbnbs is like,
Airbnbs
like wash the dishes, make sure there's nothing in the sink, put them in the dishwasher, put all the towels and everything in the washing machine, that heat, and then put the dish detergent in there and then open it up halfway to put the fabric softener in there. It's like, wait a minute, damn it.
Yeah.
This is chores.
Yeah. You know what's, you're probably going to be surprised, but I have never stayed in an Airbnb before.
Oh, that's the reason why. Oh, so you don't have an opinion. Yeah, it's chores.
No, but I do get that because it's somebody's home. They don't know when they're going to get another guest. You can't just leave food in the sink. That's how you get, pests and stuff like that. So I get it. That's the trade-off, right? Is like, okay, I get more space and I get, different amenities and things like that. And I don't have to, see other people in the lobby or stuff like, there's like positives to staying at Airbnb, but nothing's free. You're gonna have some drawbacks, and the drawbacks are you need to put that trash out and put the can on the curb, but don't block the mailbox. Like that. This is gonna be rules.
It was so funny when we stayed in the Airbnb for your birthday. Mm-hmm. And the chores afterwards were pretty reasonable, but it was a long list.
Yeah.
And you sent the list to me. And then this is when I found out that you described me as meticulous. And I was like, I'm not meticulous. And then you was like, I'm not going to really check, but just to check and make sure everything was done on the list. I was like, oh yeah, I took care of it. I know you did.
Yeah.
And then I got upset about one thing because somebody did something wrong at the end. And I was like, that's not what the list said, but I don't want to do chores. Also, when Airbnbs first started, they were cheaper than hotels. It is cheaper now to stay at a hotel because they got all these added fees in the Airbnb. So unless you're in a big group, that's the only reason to do an Airbnb. Yeah. Otherwise, when I go to New Orleans for Halloween, and y'all don't be trying to follow me out there. No, y'all can follow me out there. Y'all want to come out there.
No, don't please.
Nah, y'all want to come out there, especially if you're fine to the Roni. Never mind.
Oh boy.
I'm joking. I'm staying in a hotel. I'm not going to get an Airbnb.
Yeah. Yeah. I just never had the opportunity to stay in one before. It's not that I've like avoided them or anything. I just never been anywhere where I was like, I could just get an Airbnb. I've never had the opportunity to stay in one. So I really don't. But I don't really want to do no chores either.
I don't want to do no chores. I'm done with chores.
Like I'm on vacation. Right. I don't want to load your dishwasher and put the towels in the washer machine. And I don't want to do that.
Some people will say load the dishwasher and run it before you leave and then put the dishes back. And I'm like, that's everything. You want me to just clean up the house there.
Yeah. So then why am I paying an extra fee for cleaning?
Well, they pay
if I'm cleaning the damn house.
you pay. Well, you get. It's supposed to be refundable, if I remember correctly. But it's been like 4 years since I stayed at an Airbnb because I won't do it no more. I want the luxury and the comfort of a hotel.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to turn on the air conditioning and the heat the way I want it. And not they leave it at this temperature. No, it's hot. I want to turn it up. I don't want to be waking up in the middle of the night sweating because you don't want to turn your air conditioning up. I dealt with that growing up. I pay for my air conditioning now. It's freezing.
Yeah.
And that's the way I like it.
Yeah. That's the way I like it, and that's the way it is.
Last one, Jay. And I know you're going to get this. Pets diva demands. What's the most extra thing your pet insists on? And do you secretly love it?
I do secretly love it. So it's gonna be about Tenderoni.
Of course.
Because she I do love it. She is just her own dog, you know? And she's very independent. She don't need me, pretty much. She lives her own life and I let her. I don't even really consider her my child the way I consider Roscoe my child. Like Roni is my roommate, honestly, but she doesn't pay rent. So it's like like we are on equal footing in the household is how I feel. Like, you know what I'm saying? She just doesn't help me with chores or, pay for anything. But she is a diva. Very much so. One of the things is she doesn't like being naked. And what does that mean for a dog?
Yeah.
Right? You can't take this girl's collar off.
Oh. Okay.
Okay, or if I have her in a little kerchief, I take it off and she's like, oh. Now I think it might be a trauma response.
Might be.
Honestly, because when we found her, she didn't have a collar on. So maybe she equates it with the last time I had a collar taken off, I was abandoned. So it could be that.
Could be.
I don't know. But she definitely likes wearing clothes. She likes, when I buy her t-shirts or she has like little hoodies and things like that. She loves it. Does not like to be without some sort of accoutrement on her. That is very much her diva thing.
Well, Crypto was the exact opposite of that. He didn't want to have nothing on and wanted to be free and naked and run loose. There was nothing diva about Crypto. However, I did live with Mom for a certain period of time. And Minnie, the cat. Now, Minnie was the cat that I and my ex introduced into the family. And I loved Minnie. Minnie was my girl. Minnie had this one particular thing. She didn't want to drink water out the bowl. She wanted to drink water out of the running sink.
Yeah, it had to be moving
water. And so I would be walking to my bedroom and she'd be falling behind me meowing. And I was like, I'm not going to turn on that sink for you. No, I'm not going to do it. And meow. No, I'm not going to do it. Meow. No, I don't count. You can meow all rough with me if you want to.
Right.
And then I would get to the door and she'd be like, meow. All right, let me go ahead and turn on the sink. And then I have videos of her just drinking because I was like, this is the cutest thing ever. How am I going to get upset about this? So I secretly loved it.
Another thing, she was very demanding for a cat. Usually cats are very they don't really ask for much. They don't really honestly acknowledge you at all. She was very demanding. One time I was petting her and I didn't want to anymore. So I stopped and she meowed for a little bit for me to continue. I didn't. She walked down toward my feet, sat on my feet and peed.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
She peed on my bed one time.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I gotta tell the story. Wait a minute. Hold on. Finish your story. She peed on your feet.
No, she peed on my feet. I was laying down on the couch. She was kind of like right next to me and I was petting her. I stopped. She walked down to the other end of the couch, sat on my feet and peed directly on my socks.
What did she do when you was like, hey? Because I know you was like, hey.
She walked off smooth like she didn't do it.
So let me tell you what Minnie did to me. It was one time, when I was living with mom lives close to Baltimore. I was working in Northern Virginia.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have to be in Northern Virginia at like 6 o'clock in the morning, which meant that I had to get up at like 4:15 in the morning. When I was living there. Thank God it was only for a couple of months. And I was living there. And it was like 10 o'clock at night because I'd finished up some work. And Minnie was like, hey, I'm going to need you to turn on that sink for me. And I was like, Minnie, I'm going to be real honest with you. I'm about to go in here. I'm about to take my shower. I'm going to get in bed because I got to get up in 6 hours. I can't rock with you right now. Now, what I could have done is while I was in the shower, just turn on the sink for her. But I was being hard-headed. It was my fault. Because you know what she did? She went right onto my bed and peed. And I didn't have no extra sheets. So I had to stay up that night and clean cat pee out of my comforter and my bed sheets. I was up to 2 o'clock in the morning and was pissed.
Yeah.
Pissed, man.
Because you had to leave in 2 hours.
But you know what, though? It's not like I attacked that cat because she was too doggone cute. I couldn't even get that mad at her.
I mean, and we didn't like the cat peeing on us or our
right.
Things.
That's not our bag. We don't got that type of. That's not the life we live in. Okay.
No. But with adorable animals, it's kind of hard to get upset.
Yeah, it's really hard.
It's kind of hard to get to. I was pretty upset though because she peed right on my face.
Yeah, no, I was upset too. I was up and I didn't sleep well. I didn't sleep at all, really, and had to get up and drive the next morning. That really sucked. But Minnie, I'll take that moment just to have you back just for just a little bit, so I can give you a little hug and turn on that sink one more time. Yeah,
she's a good cat.
Yeah, she was a good cat. On that note, we're about to get into something serious. Black units of measurements and Black expressions. And we're going to get into that next. Okay, Jay. This started out as Black units of measurements, but then it turned into Black units of measurements and expressions. And somebody, I got this off of Instagram, and somebody made a comment. And it was like, is this Black expressions or Southern expressions? And I said, yes.
Yeah.
They are one and the same because a lot of Southern culture is Black culture.
Yes.
Not all of it, the oppression and white supremacy, even though there are some Black people that participate in those things. That's not us. But all the expressions and the sayings and the food and the music and all that stuff, that's all influenced by us. So to that young lady, yes, it is both Black and Southern. But this is an expression I don't know that other Southern people would say that aren't Black. On my mama, which is the highest level of sincerity and honesty.
Yeah.
If I tell you, hey, look, on my mama, I didn't do that, then I did not do it.
Yeah. Because listen, I don't put nothing on my mama. And lie?
Mm-mm.
No.
I might say swear to God and lie before I say on my mama and lie.
I don't know about that.
Well, hold on now, because I can finagle God by saying got. That's what I normally say anyway. People don't be paying attention.
The intention is there.
No, it's not. It's a trick.
Yeah.
And God knows what I'm doing. But on my mama, you can't finagle that. That's straight down the line. And then next thing you know, you lie on your mama, she gets struck by lightning, she dead, and that's all because of you.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. So don't play around with on my mama.
And if somebody says on my mama, they ain't lying. Unless they ain't got a good relationship. Because I know one person, he ain't got a good relationship with his mama. He might say it on his mama and be lying.
Right.
Because he don't like his mama. But he also isn't Black. So there you go with that.
Go.
All right.
There you go.
Around the corner can be any number of places.
Yeah. For me, around the corner is less than 15 minutes away.
Yeah.
If it's 15 minutes away or less, that's around the corner.
For me, it's probably about 20 or 25.
Yeah.
You know,
It depends on where you live. There's a lot of traffic. So around the corner, yeah, it's about 15 minutes for
I'm gonna
me.
tell you what
If
it's
it's more
not.
than 15 minutes, then I ain't going. But if it's under 15 minutes and it's around the corner, I'll go.
Yeah. I'll tell you what it's definitely not around the corner.
No.
I don't even know what we say if we are literally around the corner because
you just say you here. I'm already here.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's it. Because you're not here. But that's another
No.
Black expression. I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here
Yeah.
don't mean I'm here. I'm here means
Right.
I'm real close. But close could
Yes.
be 5, 10 minutes.
Right. If you close, it's like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah. You close, you 5.
You be like, I'm here. No, you looking for a parking space. Like you're not here yet. Yeah. So no, that's around. If it's actually around the corner, yeah, you just say you are there.
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Yeah.
When the good Lord see fit.
That's Southern.
That's definitely Southern.
That's Southern. Yeah, that's Southern. And is you mostly gonna hear from old people.
Yeah.
Old folks are gonna say that because they look into the upper room. They've been here. They seen enough. And they looking to move on. And so they just, when the good Lord see fit.
Or I've seen young folks that are serious church going folks say this as well. When the good Lord see fit. That's not how life works, by the way, ladies and gentlemen.
And it'll be for things that the good Lord ain't gonna see fit to. When the good Lord see fit to let me win the lottery, it's over for y'all. Like that's not when the good Lord see fit to let me lose this weight. Summer's ours.
Yeah,
like it's not. That's not. The Lord don't have nothing to do with that. You on your own with that. So yeah, it be him seeing fit for things that ain't got nothing to do.
Ain't got nothing to do with it. Now, I don't know if you remember this, but I definitely remember our mother saying this in her younger years. A cotton picking minute. Now, I've never understood how long that actually is.
Yeah.
And I've never really understood the expression, but I've definitely heard a cotton picking minute. And if anybody could tell me how long that exactly is, or the time frame, like when we said around the corner, we give you a time frame, and when we say we here, we give you a time frame. How long is a cotton picking minute?
It's literally a short amount of time. Like it's literally a short amount of time. When somebody says, "Now wait just a cotton picking minute," that's usually like an expression of surprise or something like that, or like they're asking you to like hold up a second, wait a moment. Like it's literally a short amount of time, like a brief pause. Yeah.
You know what? Something that Black parents said, especially ours, growing up, when you ask them for something, they'll say, "We'll see." You know what? We ain't never see.
We'll see is no.
Yeah. Can I go over my friend's house tomorrow? We'll see. That's no. Yeah. And one time I actually got mad. One time I got mad at our father. I can't remember how old I was, maybe 9 or 10. And I asked to spend the night over my friend's house. And he was like, "We'll see." And I was like, "I know what that means. That means no." He turned around and he said, "Well, you know what? Now that means no." It's like, it was no the whole time. It was no the whole time. Because if it was yes, you would have just said yes.
No, that's when keeping it real goes wrong. It could have been
it ain't never.
See, it's always a no, but you never know. We'll see might one day.
Not in my 45 years, and I ain't never seen it.
But you always hold that a little bit of hope.
Well,
that we'll see.
No.
Could mean yes.
Well, this is the argument that we had off air about a fast no to a slow yes. And I said, I'd rather have a fast no. And he was like, that's still a no. I was like, I'd rather have a fast no than have to wait all day for my yes. And he was like, that's stupid.
That makes no sense.
And I was like, look, if it's a slow yes, then it might be a yes that's a no. What I mean by that is the time may have passed where I needed the answer. So give me the slow no instead of this. Give me the fast no instead of the slow yes. Either give me a fast no or a fast yes. Don't give me no slow no. If you give me a slow no, we got to fight.
Yeah, slow no is you better knuckle up. But a slow yes means they thought about it. I would rather you take the time and think about it and it lead to a yes than you give me a quick answer and that quick answer be no.
But that no was a solid no. You knew it was going to always be a no. And now I know.
Yeah, but you didn't even think about it.
They may have
you
thought
didn't even
about
take the time to think about
Maybe
it.
they had the answer before you even asked the question.
No, I'd rather you sit and think about it and it could lead to that slow yes than you giving me a fast no.
Well, this next expression I use every time I'm seasoning my food. When somebody says, "Oh, how much do you put in there?" To the ancestors tell me to stop.
Yeah.
I don't have no directions for when I cook. I make cabbage every week, and every week, seasonings is be different. You know why?
I don't measure nothing.
Don't measure anything. It is going to be what it's going to be.
It's going to be what it's going to be. I'm going to put the seasoning, I'm going to taste it, and I'll be like, my spirit says this is not enough. I need to add a little bit more.
I need to add a little bit more. And what if you put too much in?
That's the devil. The devil trying to keep me from eating good. That's all right. Add some chicken stock to it and thin that out. Thin that salt out.
So you're going to add more sodium to thin the salt out, huh?
Dilute it a little bit.
You're going to dilute the salt with more salt.
You can get low sodium chicken stock. But my point is
more sodium.
Dilute it. And here's a helpful hint. If you're ever making Kraft mac and cheese and you put too much milk in, it's all watery, cover it, let it sit for 5 minutes. The sauce will thicken up. There's a little helpful hint for you.
Life hack.
Life hack.
Well, considering the fact that you make such good mac and cheese, you know the expression that I really hate when somebody asking me for anything is, let me get a taste or a sip. Because that's a wide variety of different quantities of that particular.
What do you consider a sip?
What do you consider a sip? What do you consider a taste?
Yeah, because the thing I hate is, what you got over there? Let me get a taste. And then I see the fork dip in like 3 or 4 times so you can get a big old helping before you shovel it into your mouth. I didn't say you can eat all there's only 6 shrimp on this plate. Why are 2 of them on your fork? You still got 4 more. That's not the point.
That voice, I know who that voice is. You didn't hide that at all. I know exactly who that voice is.
Don't try to rationalize to me with my own things. No, you said a taste. That means you want to taste the sauce or, a little bit. Not that you skewer half of the protein that's on the plate. Get some of them vegetables. Put some of that rice on there. Like, why are you getting that deep in my steak? No, eat this little piece I cut off for you. You can have it.
You know what? This is the reason why I don't allow anybody to taste my drink. Right?
Yeah, I don't.
Because one time, more than one time, somebody asked me for a sip and then give it back to me and it was like, "Ooh, that's good." And I said, "Yeah, it'd been great if I could have had some of it too, since you didn't drink the whole damn thing."
Yeah.
You said a sip. A sip is like you barely touch. You just get taste.
Just get a taste. Yeah, you just get a taste. Not, let me get a sip, and then I see your straw come in, and it's I actually see the level of beverage drop. That means you've taken too much.
If you got to take, if after you take a sip, you got to do one of these.
If you need to take a breath, you didn't have a sip.
No, that wasn't a sip. You know what you took?
That was a gulp.
Yeah, you took a whole ass gulp, which happens to be the next expression. Whole ass. Whole ass could be anything. A woman could be telling the story about her man's best friend, talking about
Mhm.
she saw him in the club with another woman and he got a whole ass girlfriend at home.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
he outside in the streets and he got a whole ass baby at home.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a whole, it's never a
Yeah.
half of a
It's
baby.
never a half, but a whole emphasizes like the intensity of
Yes.
something, right? If I say I just walked a whole 20 minutes to get here, that means I was not anticipating having to walk that long. I was assuming 5-10 minutes, but no, it took me a whole 20 minutes. That I need you to know I'm stressing the intensity of that. So when I say you got a whole baby, yeah, it is surprising, and I need you to understand that I'm stressing the fact that I'm shocked by this.
Right.
But we're not talking about an actual like unit of measurement, like there could possibly be a half or a quarter.
Right. No.
Right. No. That's not what a whole means. But yeah, when you got a whole lot of something or a whole
I don't know how he
ass,
broke. He got a whole ass job.
he got a whole ass job. Yeah.
All right. Now the next two I'm going to bunch together in a story.
Okay.
So I know this young lady. Her name happens to be Becky.
Okay.
All right. That's her name.
Mhm.
Is Becky. And she said I could use her name. I talked to her
Okay.
about this earlier. She said I could use her name.
Okay.
Becky is exactly who you think she is with the name Becky.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
She was dating a brother.
Mm-hmm.
She's telling me the story that after every conversation, he would say, all right, bet. And she was like, bet what?
Mm-hmm.
And she just asked him, what do you mean bet? Like, what are we betting? He's like, no, that's just an expression. Like, all right, bet, like I got you. Like, right.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Another story she told me, one of her friends, one of Becky's friends,
Mm-hmm.
said they got into not a disagreement, but a debate about something.
Mm-hmm.
And her friend said, oh, don't worry, I got receipts.
Yeah.
And Becky was like, what do you mean receipts from what? We didn't buy nothing. And she was telling other people that she was going to meet up with a friend that said had receipts. And she was like, I guess she's going to have a bag of receipts to show me.
I will.
Yeah, she thought it was literal receipts. And
Yeah,
Becky, I'm telling you the story because when you told me that, I was like, what? You don't know what I bet is and receipts? I was like, you can't date no black man and not know what I bet. That's like, that's is my sign off for almost everything. I bet.
Yeah.
Not okay, I got it. Right.
Yeah.
Check, read, I understand. All right. Bet. That's it. You could just use that expression and it covers everything.
Yeah.
And if I got receipts, that means that in the disagreement that we have, I got proof that's going to back up what I'm saying.
Yes. That is what is not a literal receipt on receipt.
Becky
tape.
thought it was literal receipts.
It can be.
Oh, yep. Sometimes it can.
Sometimes it can be.
Sometimes it can be.
Hey, I found this receipt in your pocket from Ruth Chris. But this is a meal for there's 2 entrees on here. It could be a literal receipt, but chances are it's a text message or a screenshot.
Mm-hmm.
It's a text message or a screenshot.
That's what receipts are. That's what receipts are. And when somebody says, all right, bet, they just come.
It's just your
confirmation. It's just confirmation. Got it.
Yeah. It's just, I agree. Yeah.
Or all right, bet could be like, all right, we're about to get into some other stuff. All right, bet. It could be a disagreement as well.
Yeah.
It could be like if you getting into it and like, all right, bet, we're going to talk about it when I see you. It can be that too. But basically, it's not putting a wager on something.
Right.
It's not an actual bet.
It's nothing to do with gambling.
Nothing. Well, could be gambling with your life.
Could be gambling with your life. Yes.
All right.
Could be gambling with your freedom.
Your life,
could be
all that. Last one. And this is important. Because when we were kids, our parents would say, hey, come with me. Where are we going? We're just going to make a couple of stops.
Yep.
And a couple of stops means that you're gone for all your life.
Yeah. Yeah. The whole day. Be prepared for that to be the whole day.
And a couple of stops is not a couple. It's not a couple is actually two.
Yes.
A few is three or more.
Yes. Several
is a lot, right? But nobody ever says several stops. Black people always say a couple of stops, but that means several.
Yes. A couple for us always means several. Who's gonna be at the party? Just a couple people. And that's like 15.
Right. Let me get a little bit of money. How much you need? Just a couple dollars.
Just a couple dollars. Okay. But you asking for 50.
Right.
That's not a couple dollars. Okay. How long will it take you to be there? A couple minutes. You're 20 minutes away.
How far are you away? Just a couple of minutes.
Yeah.
20 minutes away. Unless you're right around the corner.
Unless you're
literally right around the corner. But no, you here then.
Yeah, then you're already here. But if you are right around the corner, that's 15 minutes. For me, 15 minutes. I guess you could stretch it to 20. But 20 is, to me, that's a couple minutes. I'm a couple minutes away.
Well, okay, I guess 20 minutes could be a couple minutes.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you could be a couple of hours away and still say a couple minutes.
No, that's stretching it too far. That's stretching it too far.
Well, what do you say when you're a couple hours away? You a grip?
I'm a whole ass ways away.
What? No, a whole ass ways away is multiple hours. Like I'm a whole ass ways away from driving to you.
Yeah.
I'm not a couple hours. But if I was in Greenville, I would literally be a couple hours.
Yeah.
But that's still going to take me a little minute.
It depends on the person, but like, maybe like 3 hours or less, you could say, I'm not that far.
I would say it's going to take me a little minute.
Yeah, it'll take me a little minute. I'm not that far. Yeah, that ain't that bad. Something like that.
That ain't that bad, right? That's another Black expression. We ain't gonna dig that much into it, but ain't that bad means that we might be able to do that.
It's manageable.
Yeah, we might be able to do it.
We might be able to do it. It's manageable. It's teetering on unmanageable, but it's not there yet. So that's okay. That's not that bad. Like that's, you get to check. How much was it? $150. That's not that bad. I got that much at least in my account. Yeah. It's teetering on being bad, but it's not that bad. It's within my expectation.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that's just another episode of us giving you a lesson on AAVE. That's all it is.
Right. Essentially.
It's African American vernacular English, right? That's what it is. That's all that is. And when a Black person tells you these things, there's a whole, well, there isn't a literal dictionary, but you can find it. Google will tell you what these expressions actually mean.
Urban Dictionary still exists.
Does it?
Yeah.
Is it up to date?
I don't know.
Yeah, because these young kids be saying hip hop words and I don't know them.
Yeah, a lot of times speaking to my nieces and nephews and stuff, and I can't understand nothing they're saying.
Yeah.
I can't understand nothing they're saying.
Well, look, this show is starting to run long because we've been diddly-daddling the whole show. What do you want to lead the people with?
Let me think. Listen.
Okay, I'm listening.
I can't make this point more clear. Emergency contact is someone you can contact without fail in an emergency. Okay? If your emergency contact is someone that you ain't even talked to and a minute, of course, being a relative Black unit of measurement, you might want to reevaluate who you've picked as your emergency contact.
I'm losing my breath. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, as I try to catch my breath from my idiot sister throwing our mom underneath the bus, Mama, I love you. I want to thank everybody for listening.
We love you so much.
I want to thank you for watching. And until next time, as always, I'll holla.
No, I never touch it.
You have to do something because I turned it on.
I don't even see it.
Anywho.
Doesn't give me an option.
Anywho. Oh, and I got a funny story. Okay. When we get to Black expressions, I got a funny story. Okay. All right, you ready?
Yes.
We're going to keep it nice and light, nice and easy. We have to do no major research, no major, get all, that could be a bit much sometimes. Let me turn you up because you ain't loud enough. All right, let me make sure I'm in the center. Shit. Am I in the center?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in the center. Shit. All right, ready? Hot takes and cold truths. And also, what does certain things mean? We gonna get into it. Let's get it. That was not the intro that I came up with literally 5 minutes ago. Cold.
Also, like your audio was distorted because you're so loud. I had turned all the way down.
Oh, hold up.
Oh, when you were just doing that intro, you spoke up. Let me turn down my mic so it sounded like your audio was getting distorted.
We turn it down. How do I turn it down? Shit. See, this is the thing that be pissing me off, right? Like, I ain't changed the mic. Why does the system just be like, hey, I'm going to fuck with your recording today?
Right.
Yep. Microphone is for some reason that damn 100%. I didn't turn it up that loud. The computer just said that we're going to do this today.
Yeah. Okay. Right. That's much better.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good that you told me that. Now, okay. All right. Let's get this damn show on the road. What did I say earlier? It was good. Hot takes, cold truths. Damn it. I should really write this shit down. Hot takes, cold truths. What does it all mean? We going to get into it. I'll just go with that. All right. Ready?
Mm-hmm. Dear.
That was such a silly segment. I don't care. Well, that's what people come to hear us banter, talk bullshit, whatever.
And we did it.
And what's my favorite word? Why do you want to say it like short? All right. You ready?
I was just listening to that the other day, actually.
Blow the Whistle was my favorite Too Short song.
Yeah. I was just listening to that the other day.
It might be my favorite kind of like, before it was twerking, it was pee-popping, but twerking. It might be my favorite twerker song. I know everybody gonna say back that ass up, but Blow the Whistle made me be like, I don't literally be twerking, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Get my body moving. All right. That's enough of the behind the scenes. Let's get to the next segment.
All right.
I don't know how the show is going, but it's going.
Ooh, that segment was almost 30 minutes.
Was it?
Yeah, but I have a timer up now so I can make sure I don't go over, and that was
no. Our middle segments are typically the longest. They're typically around 25, 30 minutes, so that works because the last segments are always shorter.
Yeah.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
All right. Well, people are either gonna like that show or not like it.
Yeah, and honestly, do we care?
We do.
No.
Well, you know how I feel after every show. I always think
You always think every show is bad. I thought it was a very fun show that people could listen to on their drive home and have a good chuckle. And
this is the reason why I say this is because I was listening to a YouTube video earlier, just popped up, and it was a podcast, and they were talking about it was two younger generation people, and probably somebody that was closer to our age. And the younger generation people were talking about how they were responding back to a TikTok of a woman that says she did PR for clubs and everything, and just like nobody is really trying to get tables anymore. It's not that big of a thing. There's nothing special about it. The tables are always like crowded because of how things like and nobody's dancing. Nobody's dancing anymore. And then the young people were like, yeah, back in 2019, everything was lit, but now everything is like slowed down. And I was like, 2019. And then I had to think of it in my old ass terms. For them, somebody who was 25, 26, 27 years old, 6 years is a long time. For me, I felt like it was just 2019 just the other day.
Yeah, because we lost so much time with the pandemic.
But I guess these young kids are not thinking of it as lost time. They just go back to back then. And I'm like, back then they didn't know me. Now I'm hot, they all know me. And so the older person was saying, that's around our age, was like, hey, did you guys grow up with like school dances and stuff like that? And they were like, yeah, we had that. And it was like, okay, well, I know for our generation, we don't really go out to clubs anymore. But if we go to like a lounge or a house party and somebody starts throwing on old 90s music, then everybody start getting up and start dancing because that's the type of music that you dance to. And they were like, yeah, people don't make music to dance anymore. And I thought about it.
They really don't.
One of this woman that I used to date, her son is rapping now. She sent me a couple of his clips, and he got some bars. He got some bars, but his songs are like 2 minutes with no hook. No, it has a hook, no chorus, right? So it'll have hook, and he'll repeat the hook, but no chorus.
Yeah.
And it's 2 minutes, and I'm like, you can't dance to this. You could just kind of nod bop your head to it. Yeah. And I was like, oh wait, nobody's making dance music like that. Chris Brown might be the only one.
Yeah. I mean, that's right. Because now it's like everything that is a dance, if it's not a line dance, then it's like some choreographed TikTok
That's
dance.
what they were saying. Everything is a TikTok dance now.
And don't nobody feel like learning choreography just to dance to a song. Our choreography back in the day, very simple. You crank that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it ain't that damn. You know
well, we had dance moves that you could throw in succession. You could do a running man to a Roger Rabbit to a Cabbage Patch, but they weren't. It was free. It was freestyle dancing.
It's freestyle.
But now it's like in the choreography in these TikTok dances, I'd be watching them and I'm like, I don't know how you got the time to learn that shit. Do kids not have limbs anymore?
I don't know. But they learn it.
They do.
And they very good at it. And I'm like, I'm not learning choreography. I learned dance steps, like a dance, like you said, like the running man, like
or lean with a rock with it. You know, we know that.
Lean with a rock, like
the shmoney dance.
But that I could do the shmoney dance to a variety of songs.
Yes.
Now it's like, no, this is the dance for this song. This is the dance for this song. Like, and you can't just freestyle. Nah, ain't nobody trying to do. Plus, these kids dance too well these days. Like, you can't just do your little 2-step, your little rock, and think you're gonna be okay. Because everybody will be like, 5, 6, 7, 8, and they
act like it's fame. Another thing that the young people said is everybody's the same, right? Everybody dresses the same, acts the same. And I was like, well, that's every generation. We all kind of
that's we were very business casual in 2003, 2004.
But that business casual had variety of different looks. Now they were like everybody's wearing either Dior shoes. I don't know what the young people be wearing. I don't wear them. It's too fucking expensive for me. If I can't get it off of Amazon, I'll make something from Amazon look real nice.
Listen, if I can't get it listen how pissed off I was the other day. If it ain't fast fashion, I can't do it. So I was like, okay, I gotta go into the office more. I need to go get some slacks. Okay, there was an Old Navy not far from my office. I'm thinking I could get something affordable in there.
It's Old Navy.
Pants for work. $45 a pair.
Well, they normally got coupons. It's like $18 off here, $29.
Every single table had 30% off, 40% off, 50% off. You think work pants was on sale? No, but she had a little coupon because I said something. I said $45 per pair. I was like, you ain't got no. She was like, do you want to put your number in? Are you a rewards customer? I said, do we get me a discount? And so she had a little coupon up there that she scanned. It got them down to $30 a pair. But I was like, listen, if I got to pay more than $15 for an article of clothing, I ain't gonna have it.
Well, that's only women can only pay $15 for article of clothing for fast fashion. Men still, we still got to pay.
Yeah. I mean, you can say it's inflation, but I distinctly remember Old Navy being like $20 and under.
Old Navy could get expensive.
That's insane to me. That's Gap prices.
Well, they're the same company.
No, but the point is you got Gap.
Yeah.
And then you could go to its more affordable cousin, Old Navy. Now Old Navy is good. So I don't even know how much stuff is at the Gap now. I'm not going.
I couldn't fit those clothes anyway. And I never... Like, I used to go to Old Navy to get those, like, graphic tees. Because I was like, I can go get some graphic tees. But they didn't fit my body right.
Yeah.
Because I was like, okay, I'm a double X. Only because my shoulders and chest, but it'd be all baggy in the middle. And it'd be looking like I'm big just because it's all baggy. And I was like, I'm going to get them form-fitting shirts off of Amazon to fit my body. Because I can get them affordable on Amazon, whereas I go anywhere else, it's like $90 a shirt. Because I tried to go to was it Limited one time? Was it Limited or Express? One of them stores where even the triple X ain't big enough.
Right. The triple X is really a medium. And the same thing was at Old Navy, because I went and grabbed the pair of pants size that I typically wear, and I couldn't get them up. I was like, damn, why these got so small? I'm up like 2 more sizes. I was like, now my self-esteem is taking a hit.
And you like, Shein is coming from overseas, and they fit me better than this all.
And they fit exactly.
Yeah.
Explain it to me, because I don't know.
I need to get a new summer wardrobe, but I need to get this weight off first. And I need to stop eating.
Yesterday, I was eating.
It's chips.
Today, I've had nothing to eat.
Well,
but yesterday.
You need to go eat now. All right, on that note, we've been recording for an hour and 20 minutes. That is enough content for all these people. That is it.
That's enough. Yeah.
Woo. That was a hell of a show. Thank you for rocking with us here on Unsolicited Perspectives with Bruce Anthony. Now, before you go, don't forget to follow, subscribe, like, comment, and share our podcast wherever you're listening or watching to it. Pass it along to your friends. If you enjoy it, that means the people that you rock will enjoy it also. So share the wealth, share the knowledge, share the noise. And for all those people that say, well, I don't have a YouTube. If you have a Gmail account, you have a YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can actually watch our video podcasts and YouTube exclusive content. But the real party is on our Patreon page, After Hours Uncensored and Talking Straight-ish. After Hours Uncensored is another show with my sister. And once again, the key word there is uncensored. Those are exclusively on our Patreon page. Jump onto our website at unsolicitedperspective.com for all things us. That's where you can get all of our audio, video, our blogs, and even buy our merch. And if you really feel generous and want to help us out, you can donate on our donations page. Donations go strictly to improving our software and hardware so we can keep giving you guys good content that you can clearly listen to and that you can clearly see. So any donation would be appreciative. Most importantly, I want to say thank you for listening and watching and supporting us. And I'll catch you next time. Audi 5000. Peace.